Today I want to break down how I took this song off my first EP and turned it into this. So let's get into it. So the first thing I did was I brought in the whole song and kind of just started making note of what I wanted to keep and what I wanted to get rid of and how I wanted to arrange it. So I started with this pad was probably the first thing I kept, and this bell section. So this pad sounds like this. Oops. This pad sounds like this. And that is just the straight sample from the original song. I just added some chorus to it, some vinyl effects, and some cassette. Without all of that, it kind of sounds like this. It's very subtle, not too different, but this just gives it a really lo-fi effect. And the next thing I did was I started messing with the drums, which I completely redid from the original song. So what I did with those is I layered up a couple kicks, tuned them to be the same, or to sound good together. A couple snares, did the same thing, and really no processing on those. Just brought them in here and made some patterns with them. So these kind of sound like this with what we have now. Where's the pad? There it is. And then I just took a sample of percussion from the original song and layered that with it. And that's just another like snare hit, I think, that I tuned around. And then the hats are the hats from the original song. I like how they were when I first wrote them. And then from there, I played this Rhodes part, which is not really quantized. I kind of left everything a little loose. Because you get kind of this, like, especially, if I can just go to the pattern here. Especially in this part, you get this really, like, strum effect. And that just fit with the song really well, so I left that as is. And with the Rhodes, I just added a little saturation, some tape, and a destructor, which will come into play later on. I'll talk about that in a second. So here's the Rhodes in here. And then from there I just built a bass. And on that bass there's some tape and a destructor that's just being used as a filter that I'm automating to go up and down with the song, or open and close it rather. What else for that? Oh, and the bass is, what the heck happened here? Alright, so the bass says Moog bass. It's not, or Moog. It's not a Moog bass. It's a Juno bass sample, or not a sample, but a patch meant to sound like it. And I just messed with a few parameters, and then that's it. All I did to the bass. So that, and then the saturation with the tape, and that's really it. And then the destructor as a filter. And then the next part I worked on was there's this Nylon Guitar, kind of sound like this in the original song. And then I took that and chopped it up to make a different feel with the whole thing. So yeah, I just chopped it up, pitched it different places. This one's down an octave. This one's just chopped up and made to be a different rhythm. And then there was like a flamenco sample from the other one, from the original song. The other one, sorry. And same thing with that, just chopped it up, made it a little different, and changed the pitch and stuff, and the two together sound like this with the rest of the song. And the processing on those, there's chorus, vinyl, more tape, a lot of tape, and some reverb. Then on the flamenco, there's just a little reverb and some stereo enhancement. Just adding some separation to it. The next thing is in the intro, like I reversed the nylon guitar, and that plays alongside these bells that I didn't really do anything to from the original. I don't even know why Melodyne's on there. And then throughout the rest of it, there's other samples of these flamenco and nylon string guitar. But as I said, the Rhodes had a destructor on it that I get back to later. So that has like an impact. It's off most of the time. It turns on here. And that gives it that weird sound. And that it kind of goes along with this bass here. It just adds a little more motion to this bass. It's already got a lot. So that bass is just a growl bass that I am automating the distortion drive amount. And it just kind of gets crunchier. It starts out really crunchy and then dips down and gets this really like kind of wavy effect. And then the nylon and the flamenco sample plays as they were in the original song here. And this mangled beat is a sample from the original, which was just a loop that I ran through a bunch of like pitch shifting, LFOs, and all kinds of things like that to really give it this crazy and then it's like got an auto pan on it, and it's just doing a bunch of crazy stuff. But in here I'm not doing anything to it. This is just the straight sample from the original song. And then right here, this is the guitar from the original song that I just kind of use as impacts and reverses. And all of this part together kind of sounds like this. then there's this really kind of fluttery synth in here, which again is just a sample from the original, nothing really done to it. And the bells come back in here, which is this is kind of like a little break. And that bass is the bass guitar from the original song. And I just thought it made a really cool transition back to the first part, which plays again here. Not much has changed. The drums are a little different, and the second time it comes around, and then I told myself to re-record it in this pattern, and I did re-record the Rhodes here. It's a little different. But I think it's mainly the second part. And as you can see, it's still really loose. Then just with that guitar sample, the nylon, and the flamenco sample, it leads back into the final part of the song. And in here, I use that bass that's in the B section as an impact. And then the only thing that's really changed here is there's two new pieces. There's this mangled beat, which this has a lot going on. That's not it. There it is. So it has an EQ, just cutting out a lot of the low end and dipping some of the top. Transient shaper. Distortion, lots of distortion. And another EQ just to take out any added low end from the distortion. And then a filter, which is being automated. And without all of that, this sounds like this. I just thought that was a really cool effect. This is a loop from the original song, and I just thought it really sounded cool like this at the end here, especially with everything going on. And I'm just automating that love filter, like I said. And then the only other new thing is this violin sample, which has some chorus on it, more vinyl to make it sound old, because it's like the as you can see, the 1950s settings. There's not a lot of low end in this. Some tape and a destructor, which is again just being used as a filter to automate it, which I have done here. So and then all that is pretty much it in the last little bit. So here we go. And then the last thing I did was here at the end. The bells, I just layered an octave lower and then the original. And that just really emphasizes the end of the song, which I also adjust the resonance on this bass here to like give it that whoop at the end. And that is pretty much the song. Production-wise, this is the demo, but I bounced it as is for the final mix. I never mix in the same session as I produce in. So I hope you enjoyed that. It's kind of the first time I've ever done anything like this, so I hope it was interesting, hope it was enjoyable, and let me know if you'd like to see more of this stuff, or maybe I can break down the mix or anything like that. And if you want to check out this song, I'll link to it in the description, and I'll link to all my other stuff. So I'll see you later. Bye.